This is a PNY Elite-X. It's a Type-C USB drive, 128 gigabytes. So this is USB 3.2 Gen 1 flash drive. It claims speeds up to 200 megabytes per second read speed. And this is designed mostly for people who have already switched over to USB-C. Their cell phone has USB-C. Their laptops are all USB-C. You don't need to transfer data with anybody with a USB-A drive. So let's open this guy up and take a look at it. So I received this guy to review for free from the Amazon Vine Voice review program. Now, if I wanted to purchase it, it would cost about $15. They have not paid me for my review, and so my opinions remain my own. Right, so this is the drive, and it has this little sheath over that USB-C port cover. And so if you push this back, it snaps out, and then you can plug it into a USB-C port. And it's a little bit thinner than your typical USB-A thumb drive. So it's difficult to move this plastic thing in and out. I mean, I am definitely pinching and pushing hard to get that motion going. So there's a double push action. It seems to be like snapping at a couple of different positions. When I push out a little bit, it goes to kind of the halfway point, and you push again and it snaps and locks out. Now once it's locked out there, that thing's not coming in, so I'll have no problem pushing this into a computer. You know, it's not going to pop the case around on me. You know, it's definitely locked in there pretty well. But to get it back in place, I've found that, you know, it takes a lot of effort to do this, and I don't believe there's anything in here that's like a trick of how to make it open and close. So initial thoughts, even before I put this in a device, is that I do not like this plastic case around the outside of it that pops in and out. It's hard to use. It does snap in place very firmly at both ends, but it takes a lot of effort to get that thing to move in and out. And so I'm going to see about just pulling it off. It looks like it should pop out. So this side pops out here. I don't want to break it. If possible, I'd like to be able to put it back on. Let me see if the other side also pops out. Yes. So I've popped both sides out there. Okay, so that is definitely removable. It has little plastic clips that grip this thing, and basically there's little slots there. And it has these two little D-dents, which are what hold it in and out. Now, without this, there's no markings on the drive. So, you know, you'll have to remember it's a USB 3.2, 128 gigabytes. But the drive is lighter by a little bit. This is all plastic, so it's all pretty light. And you just plug it in and take it out. You don't have to worry about fiddling around with the case. So I think I'm probably going to just leave it like this. This mechanism is a good idea, but the execution was not very smooth at all. So I was not impressed with the clicking in and out motion there. So I'm just going to use it like this and test it like this. Let's go plug it into a computer and see the data speeds this guy has. All right, this is a late model MacBook Air. And we are going to allow this USB disk 3.0 to connect to the Mac. And it shows up as a USB disk. When I say get info, it's currently formatted with FAT32, and it has 123 gigabytes available. And it is currently empty. So we are going to copy this folder, which has 33.48 gigabytes of files in it, over here. Alrighty, writing a 1 gigabyte file, I got 23.7 megabytes write speed and 198 megabytes per second read speed. Alright, I have this guy plugged into my Linux ThinkPad, and we are going to benchmark the disk. Alright, I'm transferring half a gigabyte chunks of data here. My average read speed is about 110 megabytes per second. The average write speed is 26 megabytes a second. This is on USB disk 3.0, so I don't believe I have a 3.2 bus here, and that probably explains why my read speed is 110 instead of about 190 or 200 that I saw on the Macintosh. But the write speed is pretty consistent, so that's not being limited by the bus, that's being limited by the disk itself. So it looks like you can expect, after an initial burst into the cache, about a 25 megabyte per second write speed for your writing continuous writes. Okay, so in summary, I did not like the plastic flip in-out case. It was hard to use, but it's easy to remove. So if you also don't like it, you can easily remove it. This guy, I saw sustained read speeds of about 190 megabytes a second in a USB 3.2 port on a Macintosh. Now, I also plugged it into an older USB 3.0 port, and I was getting closer to 105 megabytes per second read speed on that one, so I think that was being limited by the port a little bit. Now, on the write speed, it will write initially very quickly for the first little bit, so there's some type of a cache inside that can accept files very quickly, but if you're doing larger files or more files, it will slow down, and the sustained write speed was averaging about 25 megabytes per second. So you can expect your writing speed to this guy to be 25 megabytes a second, which isn't bad, but it's significantly slower than the read speed, as you might expect with a lot of these thumb drives. So at this price point, I think it's a pretty good offering. For the 128 gigabyte size, it has pretty reasonable read and write speeds for the low price point.